Beautiful, beautiful day. I'm gonna get out in a minute. I just kind of wanted to check in with people. So I decided to talk about a topic that I was discussing with a lady at the bar last night. And this will be a very unpopular opinion about the Trump administration. You know, I got my tea here. I put apple cider vinegar. I just put some suckers. I melted suckers just for sweetness, and some lemon and clove. And I've got some bee-free honey, which is based. It's an apple-based honey, and I also have star thistle honey. So that's my tea time. My unpopular opinion about the Trump administration. First and foremost, I have never heard Donald Trump speak. I didn't hear any of his campaign speeches. And when he came to speak in Chicago, he got booed out of the city. I was going to go see him speak then, just so I could kind of see what everyone was talking about, what all the hype was about, but we didn't let him speak. So that's my city. So what my unpopular opinion is based on is not any of his speeches. I cannot quote this man. I can only tell you what different people have said. I can only speak about the hearsay that I've heard pertaining to his racism, his sexism, his economic development plans, and foreign relations, dealing with war. So I want to talk about three things that I have heard people talk about Donald Trump in a negative way. Abortion. That's the first thing I'll talk about. I've heard that Donald Trump is sexist, he hates women, he condones this, that, and the third. But the number one thing that kind of I would say the number one rumor of him being sexist, I believe, stems from taking away abortions and abortion clinics. I don't know what his actual stance is on that. But I do know that a lot of people that I've listened to, oh, that's so messed up, he's taking away women's rights. Women have a right to choose. My opinion on that is based on what God says about abortion. It's not based on me judging anybody. I have to be judged for my sins and shortcomings. But what the Bible says, and God clearly states that murder is wrong, and it clearly states that abortion is ungodly. Is that taking away women's rights? No. It is forcing the woman to realize her place compared to the man. It is forcing the woman to take responsibility for the fact that she is not a man and she can get pregnant if she chooses to have sex. It is helping the female be responsible with her body. Likewise, it is forcing the man to take responsibility when he sleeps with a woman. How does that work? When women understand that your womb is sacred and it is meant for one husband, and that is how you are created, women will stop having a depraved and reprobate sexuality, and women will save themselves for marriage. Women will not go out in places where they can risk being raped. Women will have to start living their life where they have the protection of a man, because they won't make the decisions that women make now that lead to rape and pregnancy. Pertaining to rape, 9 times out of 10, rape happens from somebody that you know, not a stranger. So when I'm talking about the decisions that women make, by statistics, you're safer going out on your own to a bar, getting drinks directly from the bartender, ordering an Uber home, than you are going out with guy friends who can slip something in your drink and take advantage of you. According to the Bible and what the Bible, the biblical standards and principles teach us about what God approves of, when women start to realize that you cannot do everything a man can do, you are not designed to behave like a man, and you're not designed to have sex and have the sexuality of a man, which means I'm going to go stick my dick in everything just because I need to get off, but I'm not going to take any responsibility until I decide I'm in love. Because a real man, especially uncircumcised men, will fall in love with a woman that he penetrates. And being uncircumcised, the foreskin of a man who's uncircumcised holds in the secretions of that woman's vagina, which causes him to fall in love with her. Not just her falling in love with a man who has no regard for her other than coming inside of her like a toilet. So get rid of abortion as soon as possible. Get rid of abortion as soon as possible. Rape, yeah, that can happen. Women have dealt with it, but at this point, women are raping themselves based on the decisions that they make with their body sexually. And if women started to value their self, they would require marriage before sex. And that will make America great. Abortion is number one, first and foremost. Oh, I got some hair, cat hair in my eye. Something. First and foremost, God holds the man responsible for abortion. God created the woman as a helpmate to the man. The woman was God's gift to Adam. The woman was designed to be such, to be a wife to Adam, who was created in God's image. The woman, the black woman, was created in the image of the black man, who was created in the image of God. Which means the man's responsibility is to protect and provide for that woman that God gifted him with, because he had no mate. The animals did, the plants did, other forces of nature did. The man did not. So it is 1,000% the man's responsibility for whatever happens to the woman. Whatever a man does to a woman, he's doing to himself. Whatever a man does to the woman that is his wife, meaning any woman that he slept with, however you treat that woman, you're treating your own flesh. That's what the Bible says. So when we're talking about abortion, people are putting all of the responsibility on the woman, when abortion is directly related to how God holds the man accountable. The women having the abortions are not going to be judged first. God will judge the men who impregnated these women first, because God created the man first. And he gave that man a responsibility when he gave him a wife. So getting rid of abortion will help a woman understand her place as the weaker vessel and a helpmate to men. Okay? To a husband. And it will help men start to protect the women in their life from being raped by these cowards and predators. Rape does not have to be violent. Anytime a man manipulates a woman to open her legs and sleep with him when he has no intention of being her husband, she has been raped by that man. Any man who lies and manipulates a woman into believing that he loves her, will protect and provide for her, and causes her to be vulnerable and sleep with him because she believes that he loves her and will protect and provide for her, and she has slept with him and given him the most valuable thing she has to offer, and he does not fulfill his end of the bargain, she has been raped. Okay, so let's realize what God's standard is. Get rid of abortion. So men will be men and women will be women. Yes, there'll be rapists. But if a man, if a father, if a brother, even a husband, if these men start to protect and provide for their sisters, their daughters, their female friends, their female cousins, their mothers, if these men start to do that, any man won't be able to come into the life of a woman who's a family member and rape her and leave her with a baby, because the men will not allow it. Remember what the sons of Jacob did when Dinah got taken by Shem in the city. They remember what the sons of Jacob did. They killed that nigga and all of his crew for raping their sister. And that's the tribe of Jacob, the sons of Jacob, the sons of Israel. So let's get black men from being these niggers and to start behaving like Hebrew Israelite men. Get rid of abortion. Another thing that I've heard is Donald Trump is racist. I can't hear no one has said anything specific as to why he's racist. I've seen memes, I've heard things he said. Here's my take on Donald Trump being racist. Nobody has said anything, could quote anything he said that I would consider racist. People have said that he's had sentiments that I would consider logical and that I would agree with. I am sick of black men and white women. Black men and white women have ruined America. You have a man who's a pinnacle of masculinity dating a woman, marrying women who have nothing to offer him, who have been privileged, who don't know how to clean, don't know how to cook, don't know how to raise children. The only thing a white woman knows how to do based on her white female privilege in America is be a bed wench and look down on black women who are the maids, who know how to really be a wife. White women are not qualified to be wives, but they're the only ones getting married. Right? Black men are incarcerated, murdered, under heavy attack through racism, taken out of the communities. Manhood is taken out of the black community through mass incarceration and oppression of the black man's economic structure. through discriminations in the workplace and things like that, gentrification, property taxes, all of these things that will target black communities when they want to push things out. So the black men who do have good jobs, who do have careers, who do have six-figure incomes, but that's not necessary to be a man. What's necessary is to have a source of income. You know, black men who have skills and talents like martial arts, you know what I'm saying, like intellectual skills, you know, these are the black men who will not date black women, who will not marry black women. Black men who have the ability to protect and provide as an eligible husband will not marry a dark-skinned black woman with natural hair. At all. Not in America. So you have a separation of manhood and womanhood. And you have the pinnacle of masculinity being forced to be a sex slave and a sex toy to white women who have it all and they just want a little bit more, right? The white man is helpless to this because the white man knows that his main source of power is the woman, because the white man is superior to the black man. And the white man understands that his masculinity is determined by the position and the status of his woman. So the white man would not dare degrade the black woman. The white man would not dare degrade the white woman because he's smart enough to know that her status determines his position of power. White men will never openly and publicly degrade white women to elevate black women as the standard of beauty and eligible wives, even though the white man knows and believes that the black woman is the ideal wife, because that's what we basically were during slavery, but we never got the credit. Black women get credit for nothing except being loud and being ugly and undesirable. The black man has openly degraded the black woman and shown that he has no respect for black women. He has no love for the black woman. He will not protect and provide for the black woman, but he instead will abandon the black woman who's already in the worst conditions in the world and abuse her and throw her under the bus just for a position to have the status of having a white woman. This is how inferior and retarded the black man is. He wants to rise to power by having the white man's woman, when the only way he can rise to power is by showing that his woman is the status quo. The black man will never rise to power. So if Donald Trump is starting a campaign to create a genocide of niggers, more power to him. I personally won't know the difference. I won't know the difference. Some of you sisters, you may grieve over some of these black men who you know who are in your life and this and this and that. I won't know the difference because I've never had the privilege of living a life where black men protect and provide for me, because I grew up in predominantly white settings. And I'm also from a very poor hood or ghetto. I have the best and the worst of both worlds. A lot of black women don't have these experiences to actually know that the black man is a nigger in America. And that is both, that is how he's looked at, no matter how much he has, no matter how much he achieves, yeah, he's looked at as a nigger. But it's also to understand that for the most part, sisters, that's what the black man is. A nigger. Somebody who will do what a white man tells them to do. Jump at the opportunity to have some white female on his dick and oppress the black woman and take all his anger and frustration out and inferiority out on the black woman because he has no value for her. He only values white. Mark my words. If Donald Trump is getting rid of these niggers who are destroying America because they're taking their masculinity and giving it to foreign women, if you want to read what the Bible says, then hopefully God sent Donald Trump to wreak havoc on the wicked men of Israel, the wicked Hebrew Israelites is what I'm talking about, black Americans. Just like King Nebuchadnezzar had to come and you know, God sent King Nebuchadnezzar to come and pass judgment, you know, on the Israelites back then. And they didn't want to listen to Isaiah and Jeremiah, you know. I will say a good thing that has happened is Donald Trump has caused white people to expose how racist they are and how much they hate being around black people, how much they hate seeing black people happy. White people, like never before, are open about their racism, their bigotry, their prejudice, and their Masonic oath. Now white men, like never before, are openly doing Masonic gestures and formations to show that they are part of an occult and that they are controlling the black men around. And the way that the white man controls the black man is he makes sure that he puts a white woman in between the black man and the black woman. Anytime, sisters, you're out and you look like me, not recessive of me, but you are only darker. Your hair can't get kinkier than mine. But if you look like me or darker and you have natural hair, it doesn't have to be long, it just has to be natural. Then sisters, be aware that when you're out and you're out with a black man, there will be a white woman who will come and start to have a conversation. If you are out, sisters, and you're out in public with a black man of any color, but if he's darker than a brown paper bag and you look like me or darker, I can guarantee if you're in America and you're out in public with that brother, Satan will use a formation and I guarantee at least one white woman will come and try to start a conversation with you all so she can do the formation that she is demon possessed to do. And that's to get that black man to say to go along with the program in his mind, which is to worship white femininity and reject black women. I'm willing to bet my life that 90% of black dark-skinned women in America go through that. I'm willing to bet my life that 90% of black women who look like me or darker, who are out with a black man, a white woman comes and puts a formation and tries to come in between you all somehow. No matter how polite she is, no matter how many compliments she comes with or what the situation is, she will. Whether it's your server, whether it's your bartender, whether it's someone on the street, no matter whether it's a friend of your group, you know, or whatever, a white woman will do a formation on that black man if she sees him out with a black woman. All right? A real black woman, not a fake looking black woman, a real sister who has not straightened her crown. And if you don't got a crown, then you're not black. If your hair is not kinky like this and your skin is not heavily melanated, then if you're not an albino, You're not black. You're recessive. Talking to black women. So if Donald Trump is helping create a situation where men have to show and prove who is inferior and who is superior, and the men have to duke it out, well, if the black man lose, then let them lose, but at least we know where the real men are. If Donald Trump is creating a situation, a civil war where black men have to fight for their honor, most black men, they're not going to fight because they have no honor. They're dating a white woman. Why would you fight for a revolution when you already sold your soul to Satan, to Baphomet? So let Donald Trump create civil war through all this racial clash. All it's going to do is purge these niggers who are the problem with America. According to the Bible, the white Caucasian was brought from the extremities of the earth as God's punishment for wickedness happening in the Hebrew Israelite race, which is the race he made his covenant with. If you're a black person and you are abiding by the laws of the covenant and you're covered with the blood of Christ and you understand the Bible, you don't have to worry about race relations. God will have your back in whatever you need to do. But things like taking away food stamps, that needs to happen. Is that racist? No. You got more white women on food stamps than sisters, because you got so many sisters out here that have to work and do everything because they don't have a man. All the white women do. Right? Take away food stamps. Food stamps help me out. But they help me out because I earned them and I worked for them. I didn't have a baby by some guy and sit around and get fat off of food because I was too lazy to pursue womanhood before sitting around and pumping out a bunch of kids and calling myself a woman because I had a baby. I pursued my talents instead of motherhood. That's not to judge other people who have other circumstances. But food stamps is a government program that keeps the man out of the house. Yes, we need these programs, abortion, food stamps, things like that, for women who have been raped. But again, if you take these programs away, maybe the men in women's life will start to man up and support the women and stop going off to college, leaving your sisters and everything alone and marrying white women and hanging out with all these white women who are using you as a sex toy. Maybe you'll start to protect and provide and make sure your sisters and your female cousins and your female family members are a little bit well off, and the men will step up to the plate. If not, if women don't have the government to rely on, maybe, just maybe, women will start to rely on God to protect and provide. And that is what needs to happen. Women relying on the government, and you know these programs are directly related to not having a man in the home. Take the food stamps away. Let these women realize what position they're really in, because a lot of these single mothers, you're sitting around, you're sitting fat and pretty, and I'm not talking to the ones who are working hard and who need the little extra cash because you're struggling. But the reality of it is you're putting your faith in government, and now that it's taken away, you don't know what to do. No, the reason that you had these babies out of wedlock, the reason that you let some dude dick you down and get you pregnant because you had no value and self-worth, and you knew he wasn't going to marry you, and you did it anyway because you said, well, it's cool, grandmama will just watch the kids. I can dump them on mama when I want to go out on the weekend. Or it's cool because I get all this government assistance and I won't have to work and I'll raise my baby, and you all don't even raise your babies. They're little hellions going out that society has to deal with. And they don't even have any discipline. They're just little evil, wicked little imps running around that will get murdered by the cops because they have no discipline. They don't know how to close their mouth and be respectful to authority, and then the cops will murder them because they was raised by some ignorant woman who didn't have authority in her life either. Because you don't know how to answer to a man in the home, and you think you can do whatever you want and act however you want because you got a job and you paying for this and the government help you with that. Shut the fuck up and humble yourself before the man. Like, seriously. So take away the food stamps. Let women understand what being a woman it really is about. And let women start to put faith in God. And see how God will take care of you when you do. See how God comes through for you when the government don't. When you can't get them food stamps and that check don't come through and the money don't come through and it's not on the card. But you ever had God come through for you? Well, maybe you would if you stopped relying on a government that has an agenda. Take the food stamps away. Take abortion away. Get rid of all this slave syndrome stuff. Slave syndrome, fucking each other like an animal farm, fucking each other like you're on a plantation. No regard for the institute of marriage. Now there's a bunch of illegitimate bastards running around with no purpose in life, other than to be a mouth to feed, consuming precious resources that people of worth could use to create a great society with their talents and skills and intellect, while you worthless people are having children and just eating and getting fat and having children and going to work and having children and doing this and doing that. You have no purpose. Take away the food stamps. Maybe we'll yeah, will there be a rise in crime because of that? Sure. But it has to get worse before it gets better. These government programs were designed to help underprivileged, underclass people. And that's not who they're helping anymore. These government programs were designed to help the black woman who everyone knew was in a bad position because of the inferiority of the black man. These government programs were designed to help black women with the situations that black women deal with. Not having a man in the home. So we got to help you with this child because this man is not taking responsibility. But it's now mostly white women, white people. And when I say white women, if you got a little Spanish accent with a little tan, you're a white woman too. If you don't look like me, you're a white woman by the standards of this. If you don't look like me, you got leprosy. So let's stop confusing. And that's the other thing, like back on to the next thing about the economic system and things like that. Yeah, we need to bring jobs back to America because catering to a low paid labor force, which comes from overseas or comes from Mexico or different places, has made America crappy. The influx of Mexican immigrants here has destroyed the American economy, and the Hispanic has taken over. It's not just Mexican is different than Puerto Rican or different than other places, but catering to what you call the Spanish speaker, you're not just dealing with specifically Mexico. You're not just dealing with the corruptness that was happening in Mexico that were causing Mexicans to flood. You're dealing with the Spanish Inquisition. You're dealing with the Spanish speakers who had heavy colorism. So now you've got an influx of these Mexicans or these people who accept low labor income, and they come in and they're looking down on black people. Who we are American citizens and we've been in this country and we know how to do things. But these Mexicans and these Spanish speaking Latinos look down on me and my people. And a lot of us, we speak Spanish too. Not these black men who love fucking their little J-Los. You all, these niggas think they Puff Daddy walking around with J-Lo every time they get some fat, ugly white bitch with a little Spanish accent. But the fact of the matter is, more black women look like me speak Spanish. These niggas who fucking these Latino women, they don't speak a lick of Spanish. They're just sex toys. But it's the dark-skinned women who speak Spanish. And that's why we can find husbands and mates with the Latino community. But my point with the jobs is colorism is heavy. Heavier in South America. The Spanish conquistadors were way worse than the English when it came to how they treated the slaves and colorism. So now America has an epidemic of colorism like never before, which affects the black woman, nobody else. The only person affected by colorism is the black woman, because the black man is accepted. The black woman is not. The black woman is not accepted. The black woman is the one considered undesirable. The black woman is the one who no one wants to be seen in public with a dark-skinned black woman with natural hair. Oh, that's your wife? You're not up to status. You need to get a white wife with hair that sheds like a dog to have some type of status. Nobody wants the black, dark-skinned woman around. America was never like that before. Black people and white people got along in different ways, and you didn't always have to talk about race. Everywhere you go, white people want to talk about race. America was not like that before. This is directly related to having an influx of Latinos who are color stricken and are colorist. They are colorist, which is worse than racist. They're colorist. And that comes from catering to Spanish-speaking low labor force who are now looking down on black people who we know how to run this country because we've been here. We know how to do our jobs and do things and make sure things run. So get rid of these mulatto oppressors who are the number one problem, black people's number one problem right now. You got Spanish-speaking Latinos saying more racist stuff toward black people than you do a Caucasian. A Latino, a mulatto-ass Latino will be the first one to try and pull the race card when you're not even black, but you want to call somebody racist. You always want to call some white person racist. The reason these Latinos out here are always talking about white people is because they want to try and confuse black people and try and differentiate themselves. You are not black. Because if you were, you would be around us. But no, the Latinos, you guys got your own shit in Chicago, and y'all can go anywhere and you go everywhere and you look down on us. And you really hate when we speak Spanish. You guys act like you think it's cool, but nah, on the low, you don't like that because you're like, damn, I can't talk my shit about these niggers around this black person who speaks Spanish. Spanish-speaking people in America say more racist stuff about the black man and the black woman than any Caucasian could think to say in their head. America was great when we had abolishment of slavery and we had different race relations and integration. You actually had to understand each other's culture. Even our movies were based on us understanding each other's culture. Rush Hour, for example. When America was great, we had movies like Rush Hour, where it was okay to depict black femininity as desirable for men of all races. It was okay to show a black man and an Asian man. It didn't always have to have a white person in it. It could show that black people, we have culture too. We are cops too. We're detectives too. Things matter in our life too. But now you don't, all of these movies is nothing but programming the black man to hate black women and only see white women as desirable. That's all these movies are programming you to do. So yeah, put up a freaking wall. That's how you keep yourself secure. That's how you keep temple space. You separate yourself from things that are unholy. So yeah, put up a wall. Because I'm sick of seeing my hardworking brothers and sisters being looked down on these Mexicans who just got here. On these, I don't even want to say Mexicans, because like I said, it's not always Mexicans. A lot of real Mexicans will look like me. You feel me? Like me. I'm talking about these fake Mexicans, these fake Latino Spaniards acting Mexican when you ain't nothing but a white Caucasian Spaniard with a Spanish accent trying to convince my people that you're brown. You're a cracker. Tell Donald Trump to put that wall up, because we got some cleaning up to do in this bitch. So if y'all want to know how I feel about the things I've heard about the Trump administration, I hope he gets some of that stuff done. And if rockets start to fly and buttons start to get pressed and we got World War III, then let Christ come. Let's get raptured already. Because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of this hell pit. And I'm sick of dealing with the backlash of being public enemy number one. The black man is not public enemy number one. He's null and void. They got rid of him. Now you got to deal with black women like me who may remind these niggers who they are. I'm public enemy number one because I'm the last thing that they got to erase to make sure that these niggers out here don't wake up and pick up a spear and start fighting for my honor. So make America great again. Let's purge. Peace and love.